So after these intros, let me get straight into it. This has been an interesting weekend, Super Bowl weekend at that. It's a lot of spirits riled up, and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. But with this lesson, what I like to do is just basically point out some of the things that have happened. Some things have made the news, and other things have not. But it's a lot going on right now. It's a lot of demons out. It's a lot of racism in the air. And it's only to be expected with Trump in the office again. Okay? So, without further ado, let's just show you some of the things that's been popping off this weekend. Because it's been quite interesting. Okay? And it's just showing you the tides of the prophecy and the times that we're in based upon a lot of the happenings that have transpired. It's going down, man. Okay? Let's get into it.
So, y'all, a white supremacist group decides to show up in a U-Haul with covered faces and those Yahtzee flags doing that Yahtzee salute. But I want you to wait till the end to see how our people responded.
You can see them marching.
What the fuck they got going on? Hell no. My boy got the flag. Burn that motherfucker. God. Yeah. Burn that shit. Let them motherfuckers go. Everybody got the strap.
Actually, get back in the car, Lex. Get back in the car.
That's the U-Haul they got out of. Put them back in the back of it. That's the U-Haul they got out of.
They got guns and shit.
Yeah, they do.
Everybody needs to go be posted up with their guns.
It's over with.
Black men
They shutting that shit down.
Yeah, shut it down. Put them on that U-Haul. In the back of it. Like they jumped out of it. Look at him. He pulling over there to get us. Yeah.
That's crazy. They gonna keep on.
That's what they came in. Put them back in. I want to say that I am proud of them. I am proud of them for coming together to rid their neighborhood of that evil, as we have always did. We heard about the boat brawl a few years ago, and even Tupac said, he said, we may fight amongst each other, but I promise you this, we'll get us pissed. With Trump being in office, these people have been emboldened in their hate, and we have to continue to protect each other, be vigilant, and be prepared. That is going to be very, very important in the days to come.
Very true. Very, very true. So let's keep going. Oh, yes, it did make the news. Check it out.
Berkeley Black Lake and Heights community were quick to tell a group of people waving swastika flags on that overpass over I-75 that they are not welcome here. In fact, that black blob on the concrete right over there is the charred remnants of one of those flags burned to a crisp. Waving swastika flags, some armed with rifles. Eric Ruffin took this video of a group of apparent Nazis in Lincoln Heights, where he says they called him the N-word. Other videos show counter-protesters breaking through a police line to confront them. The group that eventually grew to more than 100 took a swastika emblazoned flag and set it aflame, leaving just this blob.
In this neighborhood, we do stand for something. This here turf is golden soil, and it won't be tarnished with things like that.
Yeah.
One man arranged bullets to spell out LH on the flag, a message not to return to Lincoln Heights. Still, anger went beyond the white supremacist display to the police who kept the group separate.
Nobody's coming to save us. They're allowing the Nazis in.
In a statement, the Evendale Police Department says that while the protest was very offensive, it was not illegal. With the Sheriff's Department responding in a statement of their own that they responded to de-escalate the situation and make sure that no one was hurt. Looking forward, Pastor Julian Cook has a message.
You will not win. You may try, but we have a history of being able to push past these things, as difficult as they may be. You will not win.
People from the historically black Lincoln Heights community were...
No, you won't. This is prophecy happening in the making, baby. All right, so you saw Jake got to them. They started getting close to him, and they started getting nervous. They say nervous purpose and jumped back in their U-Haul and slid out. What are they doing? They're using them to antagonize Jake, man, Judah. Okay, and all the 12 tribes, really. Now them coming to these so-called black neighborhoods and waving around these dumbass flags and wearing a mask and all that other shit. You know, this is the type of stuff we talk about. You know, and oh, well, it's not against the law. Right. It's not against the law. Yet, these individuals are doing this, sent there to do it in these Jake communities, because they want them to get this. That's why they got rid of the DEI and tried to get our people roused up over that, and then turned around and you know, starting to do more and more of these things, these Proud Boy events and all of this, right? Yeah, man, because they're trying to get Jake roused up. This is part of prophecy. Genesis 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp. Judah being so-called Negroes, or it can also just be categorized as Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians, right? Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down and he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? This is all they doing is rousing up. You know, these tribes, man, starting with the so-called black man. You're rousing them up, man. You know, because they're looking for a reason to bring in this martial law. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. And the gathering of the people is to the Lord, because the Lord came out of what tribe? The tribe of Judah. Let's keep going. Like I said, a lot has happened in this week alone, let alone in this weekend. Okay. Well, a lot of things are being exposed, man. Let's keep going. Check this out.
Oh, I'm going to be real quick. Did you know currently in America we have between 440 to 500,000 undocumented European immigrants? Now, when I say European, I mean they're from places lighter than me, and they're lighter than the undocumented immigrants that are currently being demonized by this current administration. The demonized immigrants that also pay almost $100 billion to the government in taxes. Even crazier, even though those undocumented European immigrants barely pay a fraction of what the demonized immigrants pay, none of those European immigrants are being rounded up by ICE agents. None of them. I'm sure it's a good reason. It's got to be. It can't be the obvious reason I think it is, because that would just be crazy, right? Oh, I'm going to be real quick. Did you know currently?
No, it wouldn't. Let's keep getting it.
Trump just signed an executive order to give refugee status to white people. You can't make this shit up. He signed an executive order today. It's on whitehouse.gov. And it's about South Africa. That's weird. Here's the executive order. He basically says that the government of South Africa is illegally taking land and property from the ethnic minority in South Africa. In case you don't know who that is, he's talking about white people. Now, in his executive order, he talks about how the government of South Africa is dismantling programs that are aimed to create equal opportunity in employment and education and business. Yeah, I couldn't imagine a government that would dismantle programs that would take away the equal opportunity of employment, education, and business. But Donald Trump is very upset that South Africa is doing this, and he signed an executive order giving refugee status to any ethnic minority Afrikaner who the government's taken their shit away, which specifically is happening to white people. Now, there's some very, very important shit to talk about here. The guy who ran his entire campaign on fuck refugees just signed an executive order to make white people refugees. Number two, how does Donald Trump know what's happening in South Africa? In fact, why is America First Donald Trump so concerned about what's happening in South Africa? Oh, I gotta guess the real president is concerned about it. That's why. But thirdly, and most importantly, he literally talks about in this executive order how it is egregious that they are dismantling these programs to create equal opportunity in employment, education, and business, which is the same fucking thing he's doing here. So what does that mean? That means that Donald Trump understands that diversity, equity, and inclusion in America is necessary because of white supremacy, but he don't give a fuck. He also understands that white people in South Africa stole and hoarded resources during apartheid, and the government simply taking stolen shit back, but he don't like that because white supremacy. So this should tell you two things definitively. Number one, President Musk is in charge. And number two, during the campaign, when he was talking about immigrants, clearly, as we all said he was only talking about non-white immigrants. Trump just signed an executive order.
And for those who are not familiar with the apartheid South Africa, I suggest you just Google it, okay? I did a video on it before, but that apartheid situation just basically gave South Africans lands and rights that they did not earn. They came and they basically stole from the original inhabitants of the land in South Africa. And then when apartheid ended, it put all of them in a dire situation for all the whites that were in South Africa. Okay, all the Edomites that were in South Africa became impoverished. All right. So listen to this right here, man. Check this out.
My grandfather acquired a 5,000 acre block, and his eldest son-in-law got a 5,000 block over there. Mm-hmm. So in 1904, for a very short time, between the two men, we owned 10,000 acres. Now, you've just driven down a lovely tarmac road to get here.
Yes.
That tarmac road was the boundary between those two 5,000 acre blocks.
And you paid completely nothing for it, just the surveyor's fee.
Yes, I believe that is true. Let's be honest. It was a fight for survival on both sides. We wanted to keep our land, but quite a lot of that land had been acquired illegally or through coercion, through force. And that had to be accounted for. What we were portrayed was that the Mau Mau were very violent. And that was true. Okay. One of the things in warfare, you try to denigrate the enemy. You remember in Rwanda, they talked about the enemy as cockroaches. Do you remember that? To try and make it that if you killed them, it wasn't an issue. You're just where's the aerosol can? You're just spraying cockroaches. Okay. And so what I do remember as a child is that they produced horror books. So you would get a publication of 10 or 15 pages, quite big, with nothing but atrocities of people that have been chopped up by the Mau Mau. So people, heads cut off, animals, legs cut off, children murdered in their beds, and this was thrown at us. The violence on both sides has to be acknowledged. We can't go back 120 years and change history. So what we've got to do, we've got to take responsibility. I couldn't change what my father and his people did, but at least I can go to somebody and say, Paul Esana, I want you to forgive me for what they did.
Mike, I think part of your apology should be give back this land. It's almost 5,000 acres thereabout, being owned by one person in a country where majority of the people don't even own a plot. Have you had to have that conversation and asked yourself, I'm sitting in this large chunk of land that we paid no penny for? Should we give it back, or what do we do with it? And what do you think is the right thing to do?
I definitely ain't giving it back, because them devils don't want to give that land that they stole back. That's what they do, man. Let's see, 10,000. So this devil said he had 10,000 acres of land in a country that they not even from, right? Because Lord knows, we saw how back in the day, you know, the South African soccer team was all white. I mean, they literally went to this country and colonized it and just took what they wanted, and the government started taking it back after apartheid. An acre of land is 43,560 square feet. It says an acre is a unit. So as a unit of land measurement, that's roughly percent, 9/10 the size of a standard American football field. It's also about the size of 16 tennis courts. That's 1 acre. They have 10,000 acres of stolen land. Just got it, you know? And you want to sit here and ask for forgiveness and shit. Give that damn land back, man. But see, it's in their DNA. That's what they do. As the Heavenly Father gave them the fat of the earth through prophecy, right? This is Micah 2, starting at 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity, and that work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right now, it's in the power of Esau's hand to do these things, okay? Because Job 9:24 tells you, you know, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and he covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is he? We know that the so-called white man has the fat of the earth right now. Going back to Jacob and Esau, that blessing was the sword, and he was given the fat of the earth right now, okay? Which is all the resources and the land and the earth itself. And now it started to slide away from him, and he can feel this great difference. As they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Oh, we heard that the Mau Mau's were violent, and they are violent because they not just violent for no reason. They're violent because somebody's coming and taking their land. Of course, they chopping off heads and limbs and shit. Y'all do the same thing, except you're just coming straight into somebody's land and start doing that to them for no reason, just because you want what they have. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against his family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily. For this time is evil. And yes, this time that we are in is a dark time. It's an evil time. It's the evil world we living in, as Future would say. All right, let's keep going though. Check this out.
Not since the 1960s have Black Americans been the target of a greater political assault than the one we're witnessing right now. Donald Trump just installed a white supremacist at the State Department who openly proclaims that white men must be in charge of everything. He put in another at the Treasury Department who called to repeal the Civil Rights Act and bragged, "I was racist before it was cool." He put a Fox News host in charge of the Defense Department, even after the man was flagged by a service member as an insider threat and a possible white supremacist. He's installing a man to run the Department of Health and Human Services who believes that Black people should not be given the same vaccines as white people. And he gave unprecedented government access to an unelected white South African billionaire who performs Nazi salutes, tells far-right Germans to let go of their Hitler guilt, and is coercing Black leaders in South Africa because he thinks white people are being persecuted. Just since Inauguration Day, we've seen white supremacists on the subway in Washington, D.C., Patriot Front members at the Jefferson Memorial, and Proud Boys marching through the streets of the Capitol. And now a far right-wing group has published the names and photos of mostly black federal workers in an alarming new DEI watch list that effectively puts a target on their backs. These are the people Donald Trump is empowering. Trump's mission is to dismantle decades, if not centuries, of civil rights progress in government, business, academia, and culture. In government, he's rescinding executive orders that have protected black people since the 1960s and trying to eliminate the constitutional protection of birthright citizenship from the 1860s. In business, he's pressuring companies to end their DEI programs, and far too many are willingly responding with anticipatory obedience. In academia, he's threatening to investigate colleges and universities and withhold federal funding for schools that promote racial justice. And in the culture, even the NFL has removed its End Racism sign at the Super Bowl, although the league claims it's not connected to Trump's attendance at the game. 1 year ago, I wrote a book called Why Does Everything Have to Be About Race? That warned about 5 features of modern racism. Number 1, erasing black history. Number 2, centering white victimhood. Number 3, denying black oppression. Number 4, promoting myths of black inferiority. And number 5, rebranding racism. Trump is doing all 5 in his first month in office. His Defense Department banned Black History Month events and removed a video about the Tuskegee Airmen, while the Veterans Affairs Office told a black official not to mention DEI during an MLK event, all of which erases black history. This sweeping pardons for hundreds of January 6th insurrectionists, lesser-known pardons for 2 white police officers who murdered a black man, and his campaign to bring back Confederate names on military bases all center a racist misperception of not since the 1960s.
Hey man, it is what it is. All I can say is, I advise Esau to embrace his redness, because this is your history. This is what you do. You have a history of doing this all throughout the scriptures. So don't look, man. Don't be ashamed of it. And for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives, one, stop calling yourself black, and that's not even a race. You're calling yourself black, and that's really a byword. A byword is just basically an insult. All right, you're not Mexican. You're not the red man, the natives, and all this other shit, man. Stop calling yourself that. That's really a joke, man. And you embracing that shit. Yes, we are from a prestigious heritage of Israelites, 12 tribes of Israel to be exact. We have an illustrious history. And you wonder why things are getting bad for you, even though the scales seem to be tipping into Esau's hands. It's because you're still hanging on to this ideology of being something that you're not. And in reality, it's really just those curses that are coming down on you. And 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed because they cannot see it. The Heavenly Father has our people so blinded. Yes, this devil, this is what he does. This is what they do. So Ecclesiasticus 10:1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. And they well ordered in this government to fit the benefit of Edomite people. All these Edomite European migrants in this country and shit. But they doing just fine. And now they offering to bring in the migrants from basically from South Africa. All right, and treat them well and give them places to stay. This is why they got to get the Latinos out so they can get them in, right? It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of a city is, such are all that dwell therein. Okay? So, hey, this is just a reflection of the rulership. And it's messed up because we had to choose between being surrounded by a bunch of homosexuals and a bunch of women being in power, or being surrounded by a bunch of racist Edomites being in power. Okay? That's why I didn't vote. That's picking the lesser of two evils. What the hell? You know? An unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And right now, it's heavily being inhabited by this Edomite spirit coming back. You know, that good old boy spirit coming back into power, man, into that power seat. What are they doing? Passing all of these policies that only benefit their people. Okay? And it makes sense because what did you expect? Once you got back in, we knew what was up because we saw what happened last time. So this wasn't nothing new. But damn, I'm gonna tell you what, as bad as all of this stuff is, rather deal with that than being surrounded by a bunch of trannies and transgenders going to little girls' bathrooms and shit and playing women's sports and all. I can't take that shit. See, I can deal with Esau being the devil that he is, embracing that. But when you start bringing all of that damn inclusion and all of that other shit in, and men wearing dresses and oh, that shit is bad. It's terrible. That's so confusing to these children. These devils is embracing their Edomiteness, and ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Why? Because hey, the scriptures say in Revelations, the devil cometh down with great wrath because he knoweth he have but a short time. The kingdom is fading. Let them have it. Let them do all of this little shit. Just be prepared to take care of what you have to do and serving the Lord first, and then protecting your families and unifying with those who, as the scriptures say, two walk together, lest they be agreed. Okay? Ecclesiasticus 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Hey man, you got a lot of cats that got their feelings hurt. Man, I got all in the midst of Esau and their universities and shit, and Yale and Princeton and all of this shit, and they getting caught up in the middle of all of this hoopla, and it's crazy because you really had it set in your mind that everything was everything. Shit was peaceful. They're my friends and my buddies, and you were raised like that, unfortunately, and especially raised like that in a fatherless household. So our people is disarmed, just loving everybody and all clueless and shit. And then you get taken advantage of, just like this. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. That rust iron, you let that shit sit out there in some salt water or in some water, it's going to rust. All right. So like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. The devil is going to be wicked. He might have subtle wickedness, or he might not be as wicked as first because everything is all good. But when they start getting put to a situation where their funds are tight and they're not eating and living as well, they're going to show their true colors. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. All you got to do is sit back and watch this devil closely, how they function, what they say. And now that this orange demon is back in the White House, just sit back and watch them. They pride is coming out, man. They showing their true colors. Okay? Like you didn't wipe the damn looking glass. Now you can see shit clear. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Yeah. Bet you can see them obstacles now. And they red obstacles. Okay? Because that civil war is coming, man. It says, set him not by thee, least when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. And that's what they'll do. They'll stand next to you and act like they with you. and then overthrow your ass and take your place, man. And be like, hey, man, we always been doing this, because that's what they do. That's the history that they have. It says, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Oh, damn, they was right. And then your ass is dead or you lost everything. That's why you can't, a lot of these jakes set up these businesses and these corporations with these Edomites. And you know what happened? They eventually get pushed out by them, thinking that this devil is their friend. Your ass at end of like Eazy-E. Shit. Jerry Heller, you know what I'm saying? Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Don't nobody give a shit about a snake charmer or somebody, you know what I'm saying, that's charming this damn cobra, and one day the damn cobra just bite him in his face. Hey, nigga, man, the nigga was a snake charmer. Shit. Hey, man, that couldn't been me. It says, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him and his sins, who will pity? You can go around with these devils if you want to. Go ahead, man. Be all about it. I got plenty of red friends, and I got all that. Yeah, run with that. But they're going to gather around, and they're going to tear your ass up, and nobody's going to care or pity. Do you understand? It says, for a while, he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. He ain't gonna help your ass out. You clowns is out here asking for reparations and all this dumbass shit, and this is the one that put you in this situation. Why would you expect your enemy to come along and just repair your shit? Like he's so kind and shit. No. Okay? That's not how it goes. This is Genesis 3 and 14. And the Lord, Yahweh, the power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast in the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. The serpent is Esau. Okay? What's it saying in Revelation? What had that? This is Revelation 12 and 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. There's a spiritual demon, Satan, all right, which serves the Most High. As he's on the left-hand side of the Most High, and Yahweh Shai, the Lord, is on the right-hand side. They serve their purposes. Do you understand? But that old serpent, the devil, Esau, Edom, has always been that serpent. The so-called white man has always been that devil. Okay? No, it wasn't talking about no talking ass snake and shit. They used to have legs and arms and shit. All of that bullshit that they feed you in church is trash. Talking about the same devils crawling on their belly because they roll around like they're in a humble position and eating the dust because they always in a state of confusion. You don't have your own culture, your own heritage. You take everybody else's gods to you and claim it as your own, right? Because you don't even embrace the fact that you are just an Edomite. Okay? But the elites know what's up. It says, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. And what they do? They would deceive them thinking, oh, we're the true children of Israel, you know, and the Jewish, you know, the small hats. And they deceived you thinking that you are just Africans and you Negroes, Latinos, and they deceived you thinking that you were just some slaves and you weren't worthy of being called an Israelite. All kind of different lies, man. It says he was cast out into the earth and his angels were cast out with him. Right? Hey, it's just his soldiers, his people. Okay. It's Revelation 10:13-10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed by the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Damn. Okay. So we know who this devil is. We're not surprised at what he does. And if you are, you just outside the loop. The Most High is not dealing with you. Okay. Genesis 25:23. And Yahweh said unto her, which is Rachel, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall be serve the younger. And guess what? One came out red all over as a hairy garment. He just went fast forward to that Esau Edom. All right, shit, we know what's up, man. Okay. This is the son of perdition is being revealed right before our eyes. Deuteronomy 32:27. Worry not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and Yahweh hath not done all this. The Most High is the one that did this. He put you in a position to be able to be proud. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. They don't understand anything outside of what they can prove in their lab experiments. They are not a spiritual people at all. It says, oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. No, that's why they're going so hard in their wickedness, because they don't even consider that they're going to be taken out because of the wickedness that they're doing now. It says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them and Yahweh has shut them up? So it wasn't by your grace, your great red hands that we went into slavery. It was by the hands of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. It says, for their rock is our rock, right? Because our rock, our power is Yahweh, and our enemies themselves being judges. Says, for their vine is as the vine of Sodom, and their fields as of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters are bitter. And they are very bitter people. Okay? Very, very bitter. And it's because the Heavenly Father made us greater than them, whether we can understand that or not. Okay? Because we've lived in the shadow of being inferior for so long that we grew accustomed to it, you know? We started growing accustomed to just being, you know, a slave or a nigga or whatever bywords that are placed upon us. Okay? Let's keep going. This is 2 Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And we seen that, you know, that's why they had to jump back in that fucking U-Haul and get the hell up out of there. Talking all of that shit, and that ain't nothing, okay? Because when it comes time and you finally get Jake riled up, starting with Judah first, and the rest of the tribes rally around them, yo, it ain't no going back. Okay, all this subtle racism here and there, yo, everything's gonna be out in the open, and every nation is gonna stick to their nation. But the one thing that it's gonna do is it's gonna force the Negroes, Latinos, and Natives to recognize that we are brethren, man. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their king nor princes, and the course of their actions shall be in their hands. In other words, they're gonna do what seems right to them. We want to bust a nigga's head, that's what they're gonna do. If Jake want to take them out because he needs some food, that's what they're gonna do. That's anarchy. It's chaos. It's martial law. All of that is going to take place soon. How do we know? Because these prophecies are falling into place right before our eyes. All right, so do your research, man. It's happening. We just want to keep you up to date on what's taking place, what's happening behind the scenes. Be circumspect, pay close attention, get your household in order and make preparations spiritually first and physically, mentally, because it's about to go down. With that, I pray you were edified. Till the next time I bid you, Shalom.